Hi, everyone. I'm excited that you joined me tonight for the Feminine Mysteries Explained and the 3 keys to the Feminine Mysteries. So I'm just going to go ahead and share some slides with you to get started. So I'm Harmony, and I just want to, again, thank you for joining me this evening and tell you a little bit about myself and when I started the Priestess Path. So for me, it was around 2008 that I truly dedicated myself to this path when I sat down one evening and wrote a letter to the goddess or the mother, divine mother. And I was really wanting to know if she existed, and I was working on releasing some old religious wounding and trauma and trying to figure out what was for me. And I wrote this letter asking to find a rose, somebody to give me a rose as a sign, completely unexpected. And I burned this letter with a white candle. And it was just a few days later, I was out to dinner with my husband, and the waitress came out with a rose and handed it to me. And I said, "Why are you giving me this?" And she was like, "Well, we found it in the back. We don't even know how it got there, but we were all looking at you and we thought you were pretty. So I just brought it out to you." And I was just in awe. I took that as my sign. It was really, really quick. And it really felt authentic to me. So from there on, I really just devoted myself to this path of learning. Now, it wasn't super easy when I started this path. It wasn't all sunshine. It was all roses, and roses do have their thorns. So I do say my path was full of roses. And so my name is Harmony Rose, and that's a family name. I didn't name myself that. And I feel like it is part of my path. My name it gave me a clue to what I was supposed to be doing in this lifetime. So in 2012, my grandfather passed away, and I actually had a dream. He came to me in a dream. It was very powerful, and there was all this noise in the dream, and I couldn't hear. And he was trying to tell me to listen. And so I kept trying to listen in the dream, and finally I could hear what he was trying to get me to listen to, and it was song, and it was the Bette Midler song, "The Rose." And so that was a very powerful moment for me again. And it was in a time where I was up leveling my spirituality. And from there, I can say I truly started stepping into the woman I was supposed to be, truly on the path of the priestess. And I really went into this path through yoga, through all types of different spiritual teachings. And over the years, I've taken many different priestess courses and paths and just soaked up all the learning I could. So I now lead women's retreats. I have an online mystery school. I'm a yoga teacher. I am a hypnotherapist. I lead guided meditations and activations, and I'm a womb healer, womb priestess, and priestess of the rose. So I take all of this wisdom and I use it in my retreats. I'm excited to bring it to you in the Priestess Path, where I can just teach all of this stuff that I've learned and help the up leveling of the collective consciousness of our planet that's happening right now. So I want to begin with a short, just grounding meditation. It'll just be like 1 minute, but if you stay to the end of this webinar, I'm going to do maybe a 5 to 10 minute guided meditation that will be a Magdalene initiation, and that will initiate you onto the path of the priestess. So let's just go ahead, if you can, and get comfortable. Close your eyes. Settle in wherever you're seated or lying down. And just let your body settle. Notice if you can feel the earth rise up beneath you to support you. And let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths together. So emptying your body of your breath, and then slowly inhaling. Open the mouth and audibly let go. And again, inhaling with the lips sealed, Pulling the breath all the way to the crown of the head. Take in one more breath. Open the mouth, let go. And one final time, slow inhale through the nostrils. Lips are sealed. Feel the breath and the chi energy enter your whole body. When you get all the way to the top, take one more sip of air and hold for 3, 2, 1. Open your mouth and let go. Beautiful. Now just see how your energy has shifted. And I just want to take this moment to invite in the higher selves of all the women that are gathering with us now and on the replay. And just allow this thread that connects us to light up with each one of our energies. So in my mind's eye, see each of us sitting in a circle, knee to knee, hearts radiating to the center of the circle. Our higher selves present, and the spirit guides that are working with us on the Priestess Path are standing behind us, each one of us. And so as we open this circle today, just inviting in the Ascended Masters, inviting in Isis, Hathor, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin. And as we do so, we open the circle, the space for our evening. We raise this circle up to the 7th and 8th plane of consciousness, where divine knowing and miracles happen. This is our sacred space to begin to channel, to learn, to absorb. And then taking one final breath together, inhale. This time, exhale out the nose. Feel your body ground into the earth. As the earth rises up to support you. Beautiful. Go ahead and blink your eyes open. And just want to welcome you back to this time and space where we're going to be discussing the feminine mysteries. So the thing about the feminine is that when we are in alignment with our feminine side, we have the natural magnetism to manifest anything we want. It's like magic. The earth responds to our intention and our wish, a natural knowing of when things are not right and when things are right just appears mysteriously. And the thing about this, when our intuition is on fire and we are alchemizing with the earth, we're doing things like cleansing our home with sage and crystals and gridding. The masculine dominated, and this isn't men, this is just the masculine dominated. And a lot of women are actually, most of us are masculine dominant. That's how we have gotten by in the world that we live in. And so to the masculine dominated, we come across, when we are in our femininity, we come across as supernatural, because it doesn't make sense to the analytical mind that we could know something before it was going to happen, or we could feel when something was wrong with our friend or a child or something like that. So we have to understand that for a long time now, we have been running from this place of wounded feminine, and the wounded feminine runs her masculine on an overdrive. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that our ancestors had the ability to really tune into their fire and take the lead so we can be where we are today. But in this day and age, what we really need to do is to bring our feminine side into balance with our masculine side, and to learn to not fear it. So all of the natural feminine qualities, such as being earthly and wild and healing, intuitive and sexual, sensual, all of these abilities have been in the shadows for thousands of years. And they were once demonized when the witch trials began to happen. So that's when this really took hold, the fear of being feminine, the fear of our intuition, the fear of alchemizing the earth. That all began to happen when the witch trials happened. And the witch trials were not just in Salem, they were not just in England, they were all across the planet. And when you think about that, back then, we didn't have social media. How did people on one end of the planet and the other end of the planet start fearing the witch and the word witch? It's because there is a collective consciousness, and we feed this collective consciousness and it feeds back to us. And so what we're learning here today is to untangle that old thread and to start really being able to express both our feminine and our masculine side. And the Priestess Path is what helps us do that. So some of the feminine mysteries are psychic abilities, the ability to alchemize with the earth, sensuality, sexuality, the Venetian rose power. And this isn't power over someone, this is just your sovereign divinity, your power. And magnetism, when our womb is in an alignment, we magnetize what we want towards us. So the masculine way to manifest is to take action and to go, do. And the feminine way is to create. And by her creating and alchemizing with the earth, she draws everything she wants to her like magic. So this has all been hidden due to fear. And what we need to do is to balance our masculine with our feminine. So with the fear of death sweeping across all the land, we now carry this fear in our DNA, and it's passed down at a cellular level every generation that we don't heal this wound. It's all unknowingly held in our body. So we carry our ancestors' fear in our body. We're running our lives in a fear-based response to anything feminine. We need to dig into these wounds and start healing them so we can look at who we really are. And most women, again, are running on masculine energy, and our bodies need balance. And a lot of women are turning up with these mysterious illnesses right now. And I believe that is because we are running on our masculine without balancing out our feminine. Our feminine energy has the ability to heal. So there's this mass amount of women who are having these unknown illnesses, from chronic pain and fatigue to menstrual dysfunction, bunch of other weird things, and our bodies are crying out to us through these illnesses. There's crying out for us to take a look at what's been holding there for far too long. So our bodies are literally holding all of this energy that is out of balance. And all the while, we just keep going and going and going. And our natural state is to go with the flow. So how are we going to untangle this? We are going to look at our body as a map. And this map of our body, it's like a blueprint. There's an energetic blueprint of every organ you hold. So it doesn't matter if your womb was removed, you still have an energetic blueprint of your womb. But what we're going to talk about here is how to look at different parts of your body. And there are multiple parts of your body that you can map and find out what the pain is that is held in that part of the body. And then you can activate the codes that are lying there dormant. They're waiting for you to release the layers of pain so you can unlock the door and open yourself up to these gifts. So the womb, the wounding in the womb space would be inner child wounds, mother wounds, nurturing and caring wounds around being cared for and nurtured. Feminine relationship wounding. So many of us have feminine wounding and sister wound and constant fighting and drama with women. This is all held in the womb. You have sexual trauma held in the womb, birth trauma held in the womb, and control and power dynamics are held in the womb. Now, when you release, when you clear these blocks, when you clear these wounds, what you wake up in your womb is literally a magnet. So instead of magnetizing lessons to you that are going to clear the wounding of sexual trauma or birth trauma or mother trauma, you are going to start attracting the ability to manifest the life of your dreams. You're going to manifest freedom codes. You're going to manifest divine power. You're going to stand in your power as the priestess. You're going to be the mother, the maiden, and the crone. You're going to activate joy codes and pleasure codes. Now, from the womb, you have a direct connection to your throat. And I can never access the throat for myself. I always do the heart and the throat together. So the wounding in your heart, and this is really what I want to teach you tonight, is about these wounds that you're holding and how they're blocking you from activating these codes within you. So the wound in the heart and the throat is around being too sensitive and having your feelings invalidated. It's around heartbreak in your relationships. It's around not being seen or heard, not being enough. And fear is held here. Fear, death, loss, and grief. It all gets trapped in your heart space, and it prevents you from speaking your truth. So the codes here that you can activate when you work through these wounds that I've talked about, and there's many, many others, is that you realize you are a healer. You have the ability to heal yourself. You have the ability to heal others. You have empathic gifts where you can tune in to those you are connected to and know how they're feeling and help them. This is how we help each other, is by these empathic gifts that we have. Our romantic relationships come with ease. We have more love and connection and oneness. We are able to express ourselves clearly in this life. So we have more peace and happiness and harmony. Now, when the womb is cleared, the vagus nerve goes directly through the center of the body to the throat. And so you automatically start speaking truth. You start channeling wisdom from the third eye. So it's important we look at the wounding around the third eye. And this can be wounding around separation from source, from God. And a lot of us that have religious wounding have wounding around that connection to source. And so it's really important to go in and repair that connection to Father God as well as a Mother God. Ego imbalances are here. So there are mental capacity for learning is held here as a wound as well. The inability to make decisions and confusion when this is blocked. So the codes here, when you activate them, are intuition and psychic ability, this divine knowing. This is when you can start to channel spirit, when you really start to bring in that wisdom that the collective consciousness needs from the divine feminine. And that's the reason that I bring these particular 4 areas to map and code here, is because our planet needs us right now. They need the feminine to be in alignment with her masculine side, and we need the masculine to align with their feminine side. But we are going to be leading the way to this healing. Now, there's 3 keys to being able to heal these areas of your body. So where your blocks are, it's like, okay, I know the block is there and I want to be intuitive and I want to magnetize the life of my dreams, but how do I clear these blocks? Because some blocks are so heavy and deep rooted from our childhood, they can be difficult to move. So when you know how to move them, then you can constantly be in that practice of moving them. So however old you are is how many years of trauma you have stored in your body. So the 3 keys to clearing the trauma is movement, sound, and breath. And I've added a bonus key, feel it for 90. So any emotion that arises in your body from whatever is happening, from maybe almost getting in a car accident to finding out someone died, to maybe not being able to get the flavor of ice cream you want when you go to the store. It can be something silly like that. All emotions take minimum of 90 seconds to process through the body. If you don't give your body the time it needs to process the emotion, it will get trapped in your body. So how often do you give yourself time to just feel whatever comes in? Not very often do we even give ourselves 90 seconds to even feel something as harsh as death, because we've been taught to shut it down and keep it going and keep it moving. And that's masculine, but the feminine do that to get by. And so I want to encourage you, as one of the keys is when your emotions arise that are uncomfortable, to sit with them for at least 90 seconds and cry if you need to. And that's the thing, is we've been taught we can't do these things in front of people because it's not socially accepted. But if you just got told somebody died and you feel like crying, you need to be able to cry in that moment, or whatever it is. We need healthy ways to express anger and be able to feel these different emotions. So if you can just remember movement, sound, breath, and feel it for 90 seconds, you're going to be on a good path. So how do we use these keys of movement and breath and sound? So for the womb, I have movements listed here and I have sounds listed here, so that you have ways when you get off this webinar to be able to start to clear the wounding in these areas. So for the womb, lying in prone position is a beautiful way to surrender to your mother, to surrender to the earth. So I'm going to scroll over to here. You'll see under number 1, the flame of earth, power, and creation. This picture on top is lying in prone position. So she's lying on her belly. She's surrendering her womb to the earth. And by doing this, your earth mother, her energy rises up to clear your energy. Now, hip circles and undulation will also unlock this energy in the womb. And this is something that we as women have been told not to do because it's considered over sexualizing ourselves. I can promise you, hip circling and undulation is not what over sexualizing yourself is. It has been demonized because it is activating the power of our womb, which is activating all the powers that the patriarchy is afraid of. And those are all the feminine gifts. Now, the sound of the womb, the sound that's seeded in your womb. So you have a seed here that becomes activated with sound. And each of us, our voice was specifically made to heal our body. So you would chant the sound VAM to clear the womb. That would sound like VAM, and you would just chant it again and again and again. And this, by chanting VAM, you begin to feel. And you can do womb breathing, which can be as simple as just bringing your hands to your womb and breathing into your womb. So imagining the breath coming into your womb. And this is womb breathing, because anywhere you bring your attention, energy flows. And when you place your hands there, the beautiful thing is that your hands grew from your heart and your womb. And these hands of the feminine are made to heal. So when you take your hands to your womb, you're bringing the energy of your soul self into your womb and clearing it. So next we have the heart and the throat. And the 2 body postures I like to come into to clear the heart and the throat would be child's pose, which is photo number 2, and photo number 3. So we awaken the flame of the soul and the flame of truth when we come into these postures. So child's pose, you can see in picture number 2 that the heart is surrendered to the earth, the front of the heart. The back of the heart is opening. So a lot of times we don't pay attention to the fact that we have a back side of our heart, but there's deep-seated wounds in the back of the heart. So it's important that we open both. The flame of truth in photo number 3 is opening the front of the heart, surrendering the back of the heart, and opening the throat. So you're clearing the throat and the heart with supported fish pose. And you're igniting these flames. And the flames, the Magdalene flames, is what we are igniting through these different postures. So to ignite the third eye, lotus pose is beautiful. To ignite that, and stillness and imagination, as well as ecstatic movement, will ignite the third eye. The sound is sham, and alternate nostril breathing will clear this and activate it, and a cleansing breath. So alternate nostril breathing is plugging one side of the nose, inhaling, then plugging the other side of the nose to exhale, then inhale, plug that side of the nose, and then exhale. So you can do this again and again until you feel this divine wisdom be able to come in. Now, in picture number 4, we have the flame of wisdom. And In the flame of wisdom, you can see she's seated in lotus pose. So she's just seated and she's allowing her intuition to begin to ignite and start to invite in her own particular connection to source and divinity. So each of us have a specific message to deliver to our group of people that we come in contact with on a daily basis. And when we are ignited within our feminine and our masculine, we will be able to channel source, our higher self, and our spirit guides, and be able to share the wisdom our family and our friends need. Now, once you clear all of these areas, you start, are on this practice of clearing and how do we activate? Like, I want the divine wisdom. When you clear it with the key, you've got the door open. Then what do you do? So then we have to activate. And all of the things, all of the steps that we take to activate these parts of our body in this blueprint of our body are things that have been demonized all the way back from the witch trials again. And so the activations for these areas is by doing rituals, ceremony, sound, movement. It's the Venetian temple arts, which have been hidden. I mean, Venus, it has this 8-year cycle, and it creates a 5-petaled rose in our sky. The planet does, Venus, when it moves around. So the rose is part of our cosmic earth, our cosmic universe, that is pulling us to step into our divine feminine. And earlier in 2020, we started a new 8-year path of Venus. So it was really interesting to me to look back to 2012 when my grandfather died and I had that dream of the rose. I was starting a new path of Venus. And now I look back and know that's why I dreamed that. So it's interesting when you look back how you can figure things out that maybe in the time you didn't have the wisdom to understand it. But I've done the work now of clearing, and now I can look back and see that was the start of my path to the high priestess. Self-inquiry, digging into your past lives activates all of these areas: ancestral work, body acceptance work, self-love, womb healing, embodiment, divination, which has definitely been demonized. Every time you practice divination, you ignite your third eye. So learning lunar living by the phases of the moon, and learning to do energy work. This is our birthright. This is the feminine strength, all of these. So we need to bring them back into a regular everyday life. We need to make all of these spiritual, what's been considered witchy things, our mundane everyday life practices. So how do we begin these practices? We begin it by starting the Venetian Priestess Path. And I love this quote I wanted to share with you guys. Your purpose on this planet is not to be at the beck and call of others' whims. You are not here to be a puppet on a string or a toy picked off a shelf during times of boredom. You are a goddess, a medicine woman, a priestess, an ancient of ancient wisdom, and a warrior queen. Don't take your crown off for anyone. So what I want you guys to do now is to look at the images before you. So another way to start the priestess path is to look at the priestesses who came before us. So before I tell you who these priestesses are, I want you to look at the images and notice which one you're drawn to. Now, when I tell you their names, I would like you to type in the chat bar which one called to you. So here in red on the, I think it would be your right side of the screen, is Mary Magdalene. And then up to the left, we have Mother Mary, and she's holding a baby. We have Ma'at next to her, and then White Buffalo Woman next to her. Right below White Buffalo Woman, we have Kuan Yin, we have Green Tara. And then we have Kuan Yin, and then we have Isis and Hathor. I think I am saying it backwards. Sorry, guys, but hopefully you are figuring out who is who. Isis and Hathor is on the bottom of the screen. And you see the crown on her head with the little round circle. So if you can type in the chat, which one calls to you? So if Mary Magdalene is calling you, Your path right now may be the path of divine union. So her and Yeshua were to bring this divine feminine Christ consciousness onto the planet. And she is very powerful with womb healing. Mother Mary may mean you need to come in this time of being nurtured and holding your inner child and being held in your inner child and being nurtured. And then if you chose Ma'at, Ma'at might mean that you need balance brought into your life. So Ma'at wears a headdress with a white feather, and she supposedly weighs your heart after you die to see where your heart is heavier than a feather. So we can use this wisdom in our everyday life. Is our heart heavy because of what we're holding here? And you can see her wings are spread apart. She's balancing energy by doing this. And then we have white buffalo woman, and she brings the wisdom of the shaman, the medicine woman, the indigenous practices. We have green Tara. She brings the starseed wisdom. She brings in your I am presence. She teaches you what it means to be the star in the center of the tree of life and how to connect to your origins in the stars. So if you're a starseed, and brings in the wisdom of the Pleiades and the Syrians, it's really beautiful. Kuan Yin, she has a rough story of, childhood sexual trauma and trauma around family. And she goes into the wilderness. She is truly the priestess that rises from the ashes. And then we have Hathor and Isis. And Isis and Hathor, they are powerful priestesses of sacred sexuality. Hathor is the great mother. And she is she of 1,000 names. She brings in this divine golden light of this day and age, like teaching you how to be the priestess with the wisdom of ancient Egypt, which is really, really cool. There's so much to learn there. She teaches you it's safe to lead, it's safe to guide, and how to step into that truly. So it's important to know who came before you. And now is the time. So it's time to fully commit yourself to the Priestess Path. And the Priestess Path is an experiential path. It is not a path of doing or like going to college. That's the way to learn as the masculine. So the feminine learns through experiential wisdom. So in the Priestess Path, you learn these things, and then you take them and you use them in your everyday life. So I'm going to give you a ritual to do right now, or a spell that will help you bring yourself back into balance. So now that we talked about this body mapping, I'm going to give you something to do 3 days leading up to the full moon. You're going to take a moment daily to anoint your womb with rose oil. Anoint your womb, your heart, your throat, and your third eye. As you anoint them, so after you anoint your womb, you're going to place a white feather on your womb, and you're just going to breathe 3 deep breaths. And then you're going to bring the heart, you're going to anoint your heart, bring the feather to the heart, and take 3 breaths, and then bring it, same thing, throat, same thing, third eye. Every day, 3 days leading up to the full moon. On the full moon, you're going to draw a circle in the dirt outside, anywhere you can. And if you don't have dirt and you just have grass, you can make a circle with salt, or you can use a string. And you're going to place a rose in the center of this circle. And then you're going to take the white feather that you've been using. You're going to hold it above the circle. You're going to close your eyes, and you're going to breathe until you feel centered and grounded. You're going to let go of the feather, and you're going to then open your eyes and see where the feather landed. So if the feather landed at the top of the circle, balance will need to be brought into your connection with God, spirit, father wounds, religious wounding, self-worth, and faith. So if the feather falls to the right side of the circle, you're going to look at your connection to your fire element, to passions and anger, will, and your drive. Is your anger overexpressed or underexpressed? So this is showing you where you need to bring balance in. So if the feather falls to the bottom of the circle, you're going to know that you need a deeper connection to your earth mother. You need more nurturing, grounding. You need that mother wound healed. So if the feather falls to the left, the connection to your water element in your emotions and your inner child need balanced. And if the feather falls at center right over the top of your rose, you are going to know that you are well balanced in this moment. So after you're done with this ritual, you're going to take a full moon ritual bath, and you'll use the rose petals from the rose to adorn your bath, and maybe put some salt in your bath. And whatever you found that needs balance, you're going to take that with you to your bath, and you're going to take 1 to 3 minutes to close your eyes and take long, slow inhales through the nose. And then you're going to open your mouth and audibly let go. And by doing this, you're going to release and give to the water whatever it is, whatever pain you're holding to the water in your bath. So this is your spell or your ritual as a gift from me. It is our responsibility as the divine feminine to heal the sister wound, to activate the portals within through shadow work, and heal out all of these amazing goddesses. So the Sophia Code is a great book. Mary Magdalene Revealed is a great book. I have never, other than the Sophia Code, I've never read a book where you find out about all of these goddesses in one place. So those are just a few. Looks like White Buffalo Woman, Isis, top left. All right, I think I got all the questions. Does it look like I answered them all, Stephanie?
Yeah, those are the ones I see publicly. I'm sure you have a couple more, but you can get those after.
Okay, if anybody has any more questions, just let me know real quick before I get started here, and lie down and close your eyes. Just begin to settle in. Let your breath settle in your body as you become very, very heavy. So the heavier your body gets, the deeper you sink into the bed below you, the couch below you. And as you do, as you surrender, the earth beneath you begins to rise up energetically. Maybe you can feel her energy wrapping around you like a cocoon, holding you. So steadying your breath, letting the breath move in and out your nostrils. Allowing your awareness to move into your heart space. And as your awareness arrives in your heart, you begin to feel an expansion and a contraction with every inhale and exhale. Notice how your body is breathing for you, giving you life without you even paying attention. And as you rest here, we're going to invite in the image of our inner child, yourself as a little girl. So what does she look like? Notice what she's wearing. What color is her hair? Get a little closer to her and look into her eyes. Notice the color of her eyes. Maybe even you can hear her or sense her reaching out her hand to you. You invite her to be a part of this journey you're about to take. And she grabs your hand and you begin to walk down this path, covered, surrounded by green trees that are turning orange and yellow. It's radiant light circling you on this path. She runs ahead of you and she's giggling and laughing. And then she lays down by a tree and she falls asleep. You sit next to her and you begin to gaze out at some stones in the distance. You see the shape of the stones. As the sun is setting, you see light radiating from the top of the stones. You notice there is a white pearl on top of the stone. A woman appears dressed in red. Her skin is dark and weathered. She's wearing red robes. She picks up the pearl on the top of the stone with her left hand. She holds it to her heart. She turns and walks back towards you. You look at your little girl. She lies there sleeping peacefully and happy. You stand up and you take a few steps forward and she approaches you. You feel your heart open as you look into her eyes and she reaches her hand out to you and opens it and telepathically communicates to you that you may take this pearl. This pearl holds the wisdom, the unique divine wisdom that has been locked inside of you beneath pain of living this earthly life. If you accept this pearl from her, you take this pearl and then you place it in your heart. So you bring that pearl all the way to your own heart. She's still telepathically communicating to you here as your eyes are locked with hers. Your whole body begins to tingle and radiate light. She tells you that now that you have chosen to accept this pearl of wisdom, you've chosen to walk this path, that many doors will be opened for you. Some of the doors that open along this path will be hard to look in. She explains to you that it is your commitment to continually keep coming back to these doors and clearing the wounds that is behind them, because you are clearing the way for your lineage, for your bloodline. And as she says this, you begin to see almost like you're diving into your own veins where your blood is pulsing and cells are moving through you. You see years and years and generations that have come before you. Begin to see how much work you have to do, but you know in this moment that you are ready for this path. You are ready to take this challenge. You will be the one in your family that you will take the commitment to embodying the goddesses that came before us, the priestesses that came before us. You will embody their wisdom as much as you can, and they will carry you and hold you through the clearing of all these deep, dark wounds that have prevented you from stepping into your true purpose and path as the divine feminine goddess our planet needs to raise the consciousness of our entire collective humanity. She shows you a vision of the earth, and you see the energy of all the people on earth. You realize that now is the time that you are the one your family has been waiting for. When you open your hand away from your heart, the pearl remains in your heart. Your hands come down to your sides, and Mary grabs your hands and holds them. And together you come close to one another. Your hands both at each of your hearts, and you gaze into each other's eyes as she activates the priestess within you and initiates you to be able to walk this path. And as she does, you know you are ready, and she reminds you she will remain with you. And as she does, she slowly begins to disappear. And you hear a giggling, and you turn around and you look, and it's your little girl. And you turn around and you grab her hand and you look down and you realize you are in red robes. And your little girl is dressed in blue, and together you walk down the path, hand in hand, towards this brilliant golden light. And you see the women lining up behind you from your lineage, past and future. You feel the red thread between all of you. You realize that as you continue to walk this path, you will heal those who came before you and those who will come to incarnate on this earth when you've gone. You emerge into the golden light, and as you and your child enter the golden light, you come back into this time and space with a breath. Inhale. Open your mouth, exhale. Coming back into your body, this pearl of wisdom encoded in your heart. Your little girl right by your side. And you arrive back here now, where you gently begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And you stretch your arms up over your head and you blink your eyes open. And you can lay here for as long as you feel good, and I encourage you to do some journaling when we get off of here, anything that came to you during that guided meditation. And I invite you to, when you feel ready, sometime over the next 24 hours, to sign up for the Priestess Path using the code ROSE, all caps, or ROSE codes, all caps, to get the 20% off all three. If you purchase them together, if you're just purchasing one, you use the code ROSE. So I want to thank you for joining me tonight. It has been an honor and a privilege. And thank you for staying online and just spending your evening with me. And thank you, Stephanie, for helping me with the questions and everything else. So it is done. It is done. It is done. And so it is. So releasing all the ascended masters, all our spirit guides, and coming back into our bodies, we can have a beautiful night. Bye, everyone.